Miss Rand, your obsession with the individual blinds you to the reality of human existence. No one thrives in isolation. Society is a collective endeavor, and the well-being of the many must take precedence over the fleeting desires of the few. Without a just and equitable society, individual happiness is but an illusion built on the suffering of others.
Illusion? No, Mr. Marx. The illusion is your utopian fantasy of a collective utopia. The individual is the source of all progress, all creation, all value. To sacrifice the happiness of one for the sake of many is moral bankruptcy. The true injustice lies in forcing the individual to serve a faceless greater good at the expense of their own dreams and freedom.
Your so-called freedom is nothing more than the freedom of the privileged to exploit the powerless. The capitalist system you defend exalts the individual only to crush the masses under its weight. The happiness of the individual is meaningless if it comes at the cost of widespread inequality and suffering.
And your collectivism is nothing more than a glorification of mediocrity, where the ambitious and talented are shackled to the needs of the lazy and incompetent. Why should the individual, who has the courage and ability to excel, be enslaved to those who contribute nothing? True happiness can only exist when individuals are free to pursue their own goals without interference.
You speak as if society owes nothing to the worker, the backbone of all production. The wealth of your so-called heroes is built on the labor of the many. Individual happiness is a hollow pursuit unless it is grounded in the collective welfare. True freedom is achieved when all share in prosperity, not when a select few hoard it at the expense of the rest.
And you reduce the individual to a mere cog in the machine of your collective. The worker, like any individual, has the right to rise as high as their ambition takes them. But they are not entitled to the fruits of another's labor. Your vision of equality is nothing more than theft, dressed up as justice, a sacrifice of the exceptional to the ordinary.
No, it is your exceptional individuals who thrive by exploiting the very system that keeps the majority in chains. The pursuit of personal happiness is meaningless in a society where the majority live in poverty and misery. The only path to true fulfillment is through solidarity, through dismantling the structures of oppression and building a society that prioritizes collective welfare.
Solidarity at the expense of the individual is tyranny. A society that sacrifices personal happiness for collective welfare is a society doomed to stagnation and misery. The individual is not a servant of the collective, but its master. Progress, innovation, and even the very concept of happiness stem from the independent mind, not from the herd.
And yet the so-called independent mind exists only because of society. The wealth you celebrate is a product of collective labor. To deny this is to deny reality. A truly just society empowers all individuals by lifting the collective, not by leaving the many behind for the sake of the few.
Empowering the individual means leaving them free to rise or fall on their own merit. To chain them to the needs of the collective is to destroy their potential, their ambition, and their spirit. True happiness cannot be dictated by the mob. It must be earned by the individual.
And what of those who cannot rise because the system is rigged against them? Your vision leaves the majority in the shadows, condemned to serve the interests of a self-proclaimed elite. True happiness is only possible when society ensures that everyone has the means to live with dignity and opportunity. And
dignity and opportunity come from freedom, not handouts. The greatness of the individual is what drives society forward. The collective does not create, it consumes. If you sacrifice the individual for the group, you doom society to mediocrity and despair.
And if you sacrifice the group for the individual, you create a society where the powerful thrive while the masses suffer in silence. True progress is only possible when society moves forward together, not when a select few drag it in their direction for personal gain.
Then we are at an impasse, Mr. Marx. You would chain the individual to the collective, and I would unchain them to soar. Let history judge which vision leads humanity to its greatest heights.
Indeed, Miss Rand, let history decide, though I suspect it will favor the many over the few.